welcome to the Bookmap Academy. We do this every Thursday at market close, and the goal here is to cover your trades, go over them, give you feedback, coaching and mentoring program here. If you're interested, well, let me show you where you can find more information about it. Just go to bookmap.com and you click on the More button here. And go to community here, Bookmap Academy, and you can go through it here. There's a program for getting into the first you apply to the Junior Academy, and then you make some good work. I'm going to go over the criteria for the work that we're looking for in just a minute, and then you can go on to the Bookmap Academy, and then you can become a coach and you can become a streamer, etc. So get started, just fill in the form here, and then we can get started with you. All right, so a couple of news events here. I went over it last time, and it's worth going through again in here. We're going to continue to go through this, and one of the reasons I'll show you why we're going to cover it again today. This new supply and demand setups course that we have, where you can find it is exclusively on our Learning Center. So just go to bookmap.com and then click on education up here, and that'll take you to the Learning Center. And then this is the new course here, so click on that. Been going through it in the live webinars and answering a lot of questions for you guys. We covered it in the digest, this one here, this one, low volume pullback here, that can really be utilized for many different trading strategies for scalping or scaling into something that you already are involved in, and you're looking for riding out the trend. Anyway, there's a variety of other gap fill, wedge pattern, this trend line break and accumulation we've been going through a lot. So why I'm covering all this is because, like, for our criteria, I added something in here. I just really believe in this. I think this is a great direction for Bookmap Academy guys to start building out their playbook, and just take one setup. And it doesn't have to be from one of these in here. These are just suggestions. You can go with others in here as well, or you have your own. Many of you have your own setup. We'll put together a playbook of 20 and start to get into some of the data. What time of day, how much did you risk, what was your stop loss, how much did it move, what was your risk reward. Start to answer some of these questions. Build out this playbook to build an edge. If you can go through 20, you've gotten to a point where you're just kind of at the cusp of building that edge, and it should help you tremendously though after 20, and then continue on building that out, and that's your playbook, that's your edge. Once you've got an edge, all these other pieces can start to fall into place. Anyway, that's what I wanted to add that in here, and talk about your setups, and just taking one and focusing, we're going to build out these in the academy. Laura is already doing that, or she had posted about it. So I thought this was a great direction. Why not do it in the academy? Why not share if you want? You don't have to share your edge, but show how you go through it, and help others help you, etc. Anyway, the criteria we're looking for, you guys will see in the charts. I've added a few more in here. Impetus of what's moving the market, your higher time frame key levels, the time of day, and of course your checklist for your setup. Anyway, I wanted to go through that, and that's it. So let's jump in to the setups here, and hold on a minute, and I'll bring up Coach Jex. Okay, there we go. All right. So Jack has Laura. So Jack, let's take it away. Is Laura in here?
I don't see her.
Huh. Okay. She
She usually
usually.
watches the replay if she's not here, though. I
Okay.
think she'll message later usually.
Oh, there she is.
So,
She just joined. Perfect. Laura, we're going over yours.
so it's actually kind of pretty good transition with Laura talking about the Bookmap Academy and then going into this. And what we're seeing here with this particular setup is she's looking at a short at VWAP trade. So she's looking for that confluence, right? And we get a really great look here in two images. We get that higher time frame image that we're talking about, showing us the context and then kind of showing us like our overall what happened. And what we see here is a great thesis, one bad execution, perseverance, and then sticking with it for a better execution, for really good execution overall. And if we kind of break into that second image there, Bruce, we can go into it a little more there. Yep, there we go. So we can see that she's catching a reversal right here on that first short there on the left-hand side, but she's catching it without any real confluence. She gets the resistance at VWAP, but she hasn't gotten any confluence that a trend has reversed. Remember, if you're waiting for VWAP to be a resistance point and for a reversal to happen, that means you're against trend. So you want to confirm that trend change. It is a reversal trade, so you got to be careful of those things. And ideally, we always want that confirmation. Now, we actually see everything we want here. We see that her entry here is a bit aggressive. Now, if she'd had a higher risk tolerance, aggressive entries can be really good. You can catch these moves a little faster and you don't miss some of them, right? That's what some of the aggressive entries can really help with. And then the ideal entry here, of course, is in that hindsight period where you get that strong retest of VWAP, making the next lower high there, right? So you could take it there. You could take it on a break down below for the next lower low. So you got a couple of really good options there. This is really great work, and it actually is kind of funny. If we can go scroll down, Bruce, you'll see literally 1 year ago in the next image. Yeah, right there. Literally 1 year ago in the Discord, you guys can look at it. And I've got a link in the doc, which I'm sure Dan will share later. You can close that one and go down one more, Bruce. Right there. What are we looking at? We're looking at exactly what we covered here today, what she was looking at. She's looking at the entry point, right? She's looking at a reversion into VWAP and then a setup off of that to go back into the main trend line, right? So she was short in the previous. This is a long version of that. And we can see throughout that Discord post how she was looking at things then and how things have changed. This kind of really goes into the very important parts of like why we're journaling, why we're keeping track of these things, and how these things matter. Because now she's got all the nuts and bolts and she did it, and all she had was just a slightly bad execution, stuck with it, nailed the trade, right? So that's exactly why we do these things, right? It was really great job, Laura. I really wanted to highlight that. And it was literally a year ago, a year ago tomorrow. So I thought it was kind of cool.
Right. Let's see. David, what do you say?
Great chart as always, Laura. So lovely to see the charts and great narrative there by Jack. Pretty much echo what Jack's saying there, really, Bruce. In terms of the entry that we had there, it's easy. All of us, and John loves these VWAP areas as well to get sucked into the trade. The things that I look for, Laura, as you well know, is I am looking at those volume bars below to see if they're on the right side of me. So where I am looking for that reversal, as Jack's talking about, that I've got the volume kicking in. Appreciate you marking up, not necessarily on this chart, on the other one in terms of trap buyers. Bruce may correct me. Of course, we only know they're trap buyers if the price comes back on them. Otherwise, they're on the right side of the argument, so to speak. So just for me, when I see a lot of buyers piling in, I don't immediately think they're trapped, if that makes any sense. The other thing that is an important tell for us, and we're all doing that. We saw that, if I say, Bruce, around about sort of 3:30 today, the price came up, Jack, was it like 10, 12, 15 handles? It shot up. It's that pace that you see on a chart, and I've talked about that in previous weeks in terms of if it's moving, get on in. So where I am looking at those reversals, and I'm suggesting to you when you are looking at that pullback from a VWAP or some other technical voodoo, dark arts, hero level or something, is the price coming back with pace? And you're not going to see that on a photo, on a screen grab or a photo. You only get that sense, like I say, around about 3:30, Bruce, where the price really was moving at pace. You get in and you can get a couple of handles out. So it's fantastic, Jack. You've dug out 12 months back to see the progression on these and so forth. How's the scaling going these, Laura? Maybe you can pop that in the chat. I know a little while back we were having a go at that, and there may be some scaling on here. I'm not seeing, but I'm going to throw the ball over to Stan, please, because he's going to talk liquidity. I know you are, please.
Well, before you talk about Stan, one of the easy things was it was really easy to go back in her chart because she keeps it all organized in her Google Sheets.
Oh,
I just wanted to point that out real quick.
Great shout.
She has it organized, so it was easy for me to go and look back. So
I'm good on it, because my mistake I'd made in that theme, Jack, is that, and Dan caught me out, is I was clearing out my Notion, and Laura was going, "Where's doesn't swear quite like me, but where?"
You don't do that. Don't do that.
Where the clucking hell's the file gone, David? And I'm like, thankfully with Notion, it sticks them into a bin for 30 days, so I was able to drag them back in, David.
Sorry about that, Stan. Go ahead, buddy. I just wanted to point out that Laura's on the ball there.
No way. Yeah, but not a lot to add. I think you said quite everything. As usual, great journaling. Just about the entry, but you got with selling cluster, even if the volatility is not trivial. The exit makes sense for the liquidity. No, great trade.
Yeah.
Keep ahead.
And let's see. John, do you have any comments on for Laura?
Yeah, just one thing. Going back to the first chart, Bruce, showing the first trade. It's not necessarily a
This one.
bad trade. Yeah,
Okay.
but you can see just when she was getting short, liquidity that was posted below canceled. Right there.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Liquidity canceled there. And so that was a warning, right? Would not be as interested in following that down. And then you can see where liquidity came back into the market, and that lends favor to getting short where she did, and it complements her other elements that she's highlighted there with respect to the exhaustion. So I just simply wanted to point out how liquidity was canceled and then it was reinserted back into the market, making a good case for getting short. I think she did a wonderful job here. And that first short, that wasn't necessarily bad, just that they canceled on her, which probably should have been a red flag, and you just get out at that point rather than to pull that up.
Yeah. So
and that's what Bookmap does for you. It gives you those targets, and they're either there or they're not. So there's no hindsight here, and that's the thing that I love about the Bookmap program and liquidity and trading to it, because it's not like a moving average where it's going to change over time because of the mathematics. This is black and white, and she did like I said, a nice job here.
Yeah, John, it's so great to hear you looking at that as this leading indicator, the number one thing on your checklist, and it has to be there for you to place the order. And it's funny. I remember, God, one of the best traders or educators I ever came across. He really knew the game. He could just trade any style. It just didn't matter. That's he kind of went through these exercises of like, what if you were a big trader? What would you do? And it's like, well, where can I get out? And I'll place my orders there first. Now I'm going to find a way to get into the trade to get it down to those orders. Anyway, it was looking at it in reverse. because they have so much size that they need that needs to be kind of figured out in this regard. And you see it playing out all the time, and it's your leading indicator. It's really great. So Laura, I just had a quick question for you on this, which I like it. I mean, I don't mind it, the short here, and I don't really see too much volume. I'm with David on that. But I'm kind of wondering if it was more like it's actually more on the previous chart here. Hold on a minute. Let me go back. So because I know that you trade the VWAP, and here's a really nice one, right, off the VWAP. But this one here, were you kind of thinking the same thing? Well, it respected this one. It's just kind of touched it, starting to turn over a little bit. I'm gonna get in. Was it more based off of the VWAP here, a reaction to that, than looking at other kind of order flow elements? Is kind of what I'm wondering. I like that you got out really quickly and then you got right back in really quickly as well. Reduce the risk, you can always get back in, and then you knock it out of the park, right? Right down to the level. Beautiful. So you reduce the risk here, and then it sets up more in your favor here. You've got more information, like John said, as well as David said, you got a little more volume behind you now, and you can look for that to follow through. And I just love it here. You've got a liquidity level, and it's the bottom of the range. Take some off or get out, and that's a really nice trade. So you can always scale in and do more later, but you reduce the risk, and you got a winner, and you're positive overall.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm just curious about that entry. Was it just because of VWAP, or was there something more to it? Let's see. All right.
She has the date and the time zone there as well, Bruce. So extra credit on that.
Yeah.
Yep, right. That's
He-
real helpful.
Yeah, David. I mean, John, we'll go
Love it,
over
don't we?
an image of yours because you're using that software or that feature in Bookmap, which is really nice. Of just make sure when you take your screenshot, have the date and time right on there, and then you've got it made. You don't have to mark that part up. So it's under. If you right click in the chart and then in Bookmap and go to configuration, you'll see it in the middle, kind of in the middle of that configuration panel. Let's see, you wanted to get short in the trend because of all the liquidity in NQ and ES was below. Okay.
That's cool.
Sounds good. Let's see. Jack, anything else you want to go over? Jack is already left.
Yeah, his chat says I can hear Mike just muted, so maybe he
Yeah.
might unmute. Bruce.
Okay. So let's see, move and take a quick look around. Let's see. Big and Vinnie.
Can't see Greg in here.
Yeah, and Vinnie said he had some issues with connection. Yeah, so he may or may not be able to make it. So
Stan's got a Valley fan if you Stan.
Yeah, we can go over Valley fan.
Yeah, sounds good. So let's bring up Valley fan. And invite him up to the stage. Yeah, come on up, Valley fan.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, I don't know if you want to go over it. Explain us a bit what you were looking for.
he's having a hard time getting up on the stage, I think.
Okay. Um, but yeah, right. During this time, I will just say I found it just a bit aggressive for the entry, but even like he got his reasons. We get like a little bit of buying cluster, as he mentioned in his note. Um, like he saw an absorption um, plus time and sales going in his favor, but still I find the entry a little bit aggressive. Plus the ad when we clearly saw like um, yeah, big red cluster against you. Exit makes sense. It seems like a VWAP or or yeah, and market structure. Um, Plus, it's great. Like as usual, he's using like I think it's the pivot point, the S3 and the S4 as support on the other chart, and the options level. So yeah, that will be great if you could jump and say something about it.
Yeah. He unfortunately he cannot get to the stage. He's in an appointment. Will be done at 5.
Ah, yeah, right.
So anyway, then let's move on to David.
Yeah, I like it. No, I like the trade here. I like the hammer candle there. Valet fan. I know it's a bit old school, Voodoo Bruce, as we do. I like that. I like the Camarilla levels you've got. I like the volume profile analysis, the VPA. The bottom, something that I'm forever flagging out in my Discord post, my sharp post, in terms of that, where the bars change color, so you got that mood change and so forth. I'm with you, Stan, in terms of the first entry is a little bit aggressive, that sort of retest, and I always give Tom the credit for that sort of his phrase of coming back to aisle 3 or something that he says. So the second test of that is the safe. That's it, Bruce. Yeah, it's a safer entry. But that said, I know a lot of you be saying, "Hang on, David, you're always on about the price is moving, the price is bloody moving. Get on in." So what what do you want to do? I hear you on that. So he's listening and he's executing, and he knows he's on the right side of an argument there, and he adds to it. It's beautiful. So it's not quite scaling, is it, Bruce? It's more slightly. Yeah, we talked about this last week, didn't we? Not diluting, but getting in. We've got the liquidity up at 436, and that is, I suppose, getting a little bit thicker there, Bruce. So you could, it was getting a little bit more robust. Whether the 435.5 is getting sort of pulled or something, and so forth. But as there's no doubt you'll also say, and I know you will as well, John, and at 430, there's quite a bit below as well. So, John, I don't know if you saw the comment or sort of thread exchange with Moby on one of the days this week, and we were talking, Bruce, about sort of Atari tennis. We're all of a similar age, those old Atari console, playing tennis on a little sort of TV. So you got these color bands. So yeah, it's easy with hindsight to say, yeah, we're going back to 436, 435. But John will probably say, hang on, David, how did you know we're not going to go down to 430? John, help me, please. Cover me.
Yeah, and I agree with Stan. At least on that first one, it is a bit aggressive. And that 431 liquidity, and as well as 430 would have been problematic. Yeah, you have liquidity above at 436. You have VWAP above, so the plan would be to take a partial at VWAP and then carry it up to 436 if this was going to be a reversal. So in order for me to take this trade, it would require a real close stop. This is going to be one of those where it has to take off immediately, or I don't want to have anything to do with it because of that liquidity below at 31 and 30.
Yeah, big time.
Because that's a pretty good fall off there. I mean, that first trade, you're trying to catch a falling knife. That's pretty aggressive. Now the second one, okay, but it needs to go. If I'm going to stay in it, it has to go immediately, and it did for him, and I'm glad. The problem that I have with it is that liquidity below at 31 and 39.
It is, yeah. The only thing for me to contradict myself here, Bruce, is that if we look at the time scale below, can I round that so it's a sort of 15, 20, 30-minute bit of consolidation in that area? So it wasn't quite the scalp that I would be taking or John might be taking. That said, everything John said is totally valid and reinforced. We'll throw the ball back to you, Bruce, for some Monday morning stuff, please. We haven't had that phrase yet. Thanks, Dave.
All right. So, and Jack, let us know when if you're back. Then we'll throw the ball your way. But I think if Valet Fan were up on the stage, I think I know exactly what he would say. And I would support him on it. This is what he does. It hit his cam level, and he had a hammer candle, you know, that's what he does, and he just kind of waits for a little bit of volume above it, and he gets in. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I guess he got a little more aggressive on the second one. I'm kind of wondering about was this half a position and this another half or not? And what constitutes for him this? I'm kind of more concerned about this position here, or I'd like to hear more about it. I think I would be looking for more up here for that confirmation and I think it's gonna go. But I know this is what he looks for. He trades it all the time this way. Now he does have high liquidity in Bookmap. He's got the hammer, and he's starting to see some of the volume come in, it's at his cam level, and he'll just take a quick loss if it doesn't work out, and he will look for the next cam level. That's I think that's what he would say, but I know he said in the past. Was
there a hero chart here, Bruce? Sorry to chip across. Was that within the write-up, Stan? Is there a hero chart or something? Or?
I thought he did have a hero chart with this.
That might
There.
dig us out of a hole here.
The next one.
Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. So the plot thickens.
Absolutely.
Come on, John.
I'm in.
John's in.
Jeez, you're holding back. I feel like an idiot. I'm in.
Playing blindfolded. Come on, David.
Yeah. And that's kind of what goes to my trades a lot of times, Bruce. This is the one that really does help me, and you can see where it does here. He's showing the total, so you don't know whether it's the puts or calls, but that's pretty big move there in Hero. Yeah.
So what is it in Hero that you see the bigger move and it touches this key gamma level, strike level here?
No, the key gamma level pertains to the price. So that's really independent of Hero. No, it's just that Hero essentially makes a double bottom at negative 24 million, and then it shoots up to 0, and so that's a pretty good push in terms of the options. So it really is just the fact that you had a heck of a rally there at 11:03.
Somewhere in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yes, sir. Yep.
Oh, so likely to be going lower, Bruce. Really, that's the thing when you see that.
Yeah, key gamma's at 430, and so that lends to what that liquidity was showing down there in the previous chart. So that's and I would have expected to go down and get it actually with that gamma down there, but it didn't.
Okay.
But Hero, yeah, that's it right there.
So it's right here is where you're looking.
At the catalyst. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then all right. So then let's take a look at that. Weave that into Bookmap, and it would be here. The second entry, it looks like. Am I reading it correct? I mean,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and this is nice. The volume. You really start to see it build. It's hard to see if it is what it relates to exactly. So actually, it happens after. So it's a little bit more here, where you see that bigger volume start to come back in, around above 32, 432 or. But okay, all right. Well, there you go. Got an extra confluence, or a big one, with the hero in gamma.
Yep.
Right.
Makes a good look great.
Okay.
It really does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks a lot less aggressive now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean that was the hook. I mean, up until that point, I'm not seeing it, and really just from the Bookmap chart, it's still not great. I mean, you've got negative volume, you've got bearish volume right there.
Yeah.
Your bar down below is sell
Not helping.
volume, and then it just hooks up. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. And he's got his candlestick chart too. So, all right. I think that's it then, for
Nice.
moving along swimmingly here. All right. Let's see.
Great stuff, Stan. Well done, sir.
See who else is in here now, and we go. See, Vinnie has DNT and Shark. So I know DNT is here. So let's. Too bad Vinnie can't make it, but anyway, we can bring up Notion file here. All right, here we go. Right, and let's get DNT up on the stage. There we go. All right, and yeah, you're still muted, DNT.
Okay, good call. Can you hear me?
Yes, excellent.
Okay,
Hi,
great.
buddy.
Hey, how you guys doing?
All good. Yourself?
Doing good. Doing good. I like Vinny's additions here that he puts checklist here for us to walk through.
Yeah, Vinny's a
Cool.
master of the checklist.
Uh-huh.
So,
Right?
Yeah. So yeah, take us through. Do you remember the trade?
Hey, all right, yeah. So I'm looking at it, and so this was 5-6. Yeah, so I put everything here, and I actually wasn't in this trade. I was still going short, but looking at it, I didn't really do a good pre-market prep, and I was going against the reversal here. So I analyzed it, and if I was looking to go long, I don't really have like a place to like interact here until the market actually. And there's a couple places that I can interact if I was narrating properly. So I see the location and where it reversed at. So if I had seen that location where it reversed at, and then secondly was all the heavy ice activity. If you look on the bottom right bookmap chart, you see all those blue horizontal lines that are just going and trailing.
Yeah, got it.
So this high ice activity really catches my attention. I've been posting a lot about it since we've had that MBO bundle.
Mm-hmm.
We've been having the we get two credits for MBO posts, and I've really been liking the ice. With that gets this like crazy activity going on at key locations on the where you might see a pivot. And that's exactly what happened here. Although I wouldn't be able to like catch the low or anything like that, my entries probably, if I were able to see this properly and see the reversal properly and was patient, um, I might have still took the short. I probably would have got stopped. I might have been able to flip properly, like where those green circles are at. It would have the first green circle might have been pretty good because actually I really like that Vinnie highlighted that middle yellow square. Yep, right there. That's exactly it. So that would have been really good. You could just put your stop loss at the lower end of that consolidation right there. Because that first entry where that green circle's at, it's leaning on that volume right there, that little consolidation. Yeah. So if I was in the right direction, boom. I like that Vinny put that consolidation break, pull back to volume, and that's a really good entry right there actually.
Yeah.
So I like that. And anyways, that's a strong move down, right? It's like a consolidation, strong move down. I mean, I don't know if you really want to get in front of that, but if you were looking and you have this bullish bias or whatever, you see all that ice activity that goes off in the lower right. That's a pretty clean, and also NQ on the top left chart grabbing that resting liquidity. All those two combined are really powerful. Plus the higher time frame location as well, if you're able to see it properly. Depending on what time frame you're trading on, I know like you'd be, like me, I probably would have been trading this. I was trading the short, and then get to a point where I get stopped out, and then I realized that the intermediate time frame reversals in play, and then so the intraday time frame, which is down, this is a downtrend in the intraday. You can see in the intermediate time frame that this is the pushback up on the testing a higher time frame location from a few days ago.
Yeah.
On the intermediate time frame, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, man. I really like that ice. Just popping off like crazy. And we were talking about it, I think, on one of your streams. Actually, you know what? I think we were on your stream when this happened earlier in the day, and I think that you might have came on later in the day when the market was already at the highs. We were talking about it.
I can't recall.
Yeah.
I don't know. So just a couple comments. Let me just jump in. I just kind of came across my mind before I forget it. I really like what Vinny had marked up here about this break of the structure and the consolidation, and then you've got follow through, but you got a nice pullback. It's a beauty. It's a beauty. Right to this level, and it's kind of. I don't know. It depends on what kind of trader you are. I mean, I'm always looking for that, and I'm not looking at VWAP. Other VWAP traders would probably be thinking, "What are you doing, buying like there?" But you guys know I don't really look at it very much. Anyway, the flow is changing though, and that's what I kind of look for, and I really like here, and I like that Vinny noticed it and you noticed it. And you can see it in the buy volume here from sell side to buy side, and it's a beauty. And you got some really nice pullbacks in here. Some nice stuff there. I'm trying to train my eyes like John as targets. Where can you get out of some of these things? And look at these high liquidity levels. Once we see the transition, though, so basically we go from the passive buying over here all the way down, and you see all the aggressive selling, but there's a lot of passive buying getting filled, and then we have this back and forth in here. Then we have the aggressive buying coming in, and they take it, and then look to these areas for your targets. You can also look at measured moves and whatnot. I also like those quite a bit. All right, before I get into too much trouble, jump over to David.
Thank you, Bruce. I think you've covered it very, very well, particularly the volume bar.
Right.
Lovely chart in here, fella. So really respect that. Really respect that. And if I can say, I'm going to say a broadly similar move today. John will chip in on that as well, I'm sure. In terms of you get a heavy sell down, you get all the signals you're going down. I
Yeah.
think you said something similar about being a bit. I'm always bent out of shape. I'm always looking for the long. I'm always looking for the styrofoam market. Yeah, we're going to go down, but we're going to go up at some stage, and that doesn't help my short game. But in terms of my long game, it does, because I'm forever looking across my charts and seeing that flip, as Bruce has rightly talked about. And you saw that today, very much towards. Let me try and get my time, Bruce, if you were on today with Joseph around about sort of your 10:30, getting towards 11 in the last hour up to London close, and the market just started going vertical. It's nothing but green bars.
I got an image. Yeah, you're right. Keep going.
Yeah, it's that, and so that's what you got on this chart. That is the time when you just got to feed like a pig. You just have to. And then we take what John's going to talk about in terms of upper liquidity. I love if I say your sort of market profile lower left chart, aka what Scott used to do a few years ago. I don't know if he still does, in terms of, so you can see where there's the thin liquidity in terms of hot knife through butter, etc. So love the checklisting that you guys have done. John, help me please before we go to Stan.
God, he knows me. Jeez. makes me a little nervous, Bruce. Jeez. So, yeah, everything that you mentioned so far, in addition to what Bruce was talking about, the rectangle in the middle where it says break consolidate, that was sort of the line in the sand. But what makes that valid for me, a confirmation, is that new liquidity coming in above. And Bruce had that rectangled up, so just about, right in there, and then it just stepwise it's just rolling the market up. So that was in addition in addition to that point where it says break consolidate. When that new liquidity starts building in the market, that's a case for me, that's a bullish case for me. So that pullback that Bruce likes, that's a little too aggressive from me, because I don't pick a fight with VWAP, but I could have gone through and bought that second circle, the second green circle, when it breaks through VWAP on volume. I could get on that. And then of course that's a lovely one up there at number 2. That's a really good one, because you had confirmation for everything that we talked about. But the big thing for me is that new liquidity coming in.
Perfect.
Above.
Yeah, I see that. You're walking it up. And that was all new liquidity except for number 4 at the top. Right. You're right. I see what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
But even up there though, they were adding to it, because it gets a bit more red.
In.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's what you want to see. It's moving in your direction. In your direction. Yes.
And those surfer icebergs as well, sort of chip across, guys. It always reminds me of Crash, Bruce. He was the master of sort of putting those on a chart, and they're very effective, as John knows, in ETH. In fact, for me, more ETH do I like the surfer icebergs when I see them than I do in RTH. But Stan, sir.
Yeah, well, nothing more to add for me. Completely agree with you, and I really like the second potential entry.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, all the confidence at that time.
Bruce, can we pick up the DNT's chart from today? Because I was rambling on that and was talking all over you, DNT. It's in the chat, please, Bruce.
Yeah, there you go.
And I said it was broadly sim today. It's probably not going to be the same as today.
It's a little different. This was more at the mid, but oh man, this was a tough reversal to get on. Because imagine, it was a tough one to get on. I got stopped out before it moved up, but then I got back in, and I'm like, dang it. There's the ice right there at the mid, VWAP. And a little bit of activity at the bottom, but not a whole lot.
Okay. But at least you're looking for it. That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, we already kind of tested this area, and then we come back to the lows again with news, and it hammered that level like several times before, and it didn't even really give you a chance to get back in. it just floated or drifted back up or grift, right? Drift.
It's always a grift. If you're saying the word grift, it's always a grift. Everything's a bloody grift.
Just went up. That was a tough one. And I think a lot of, if you wanted to get in and you see all that ICE activity at the VWAP, it's like, all right, well now, this has turned out, instead of a reversion trade or reversal trade, this has turned into a breakout trade. And on the top right, you can't really see it, but it's you also see some trend lines there. They're kind of tough to see, but you have the break in the downtrend at this point.
Now you've got Voltrig on your. I've just stuck in the chat my chart. You got Voltrig on the left. You had that in your lens.
Voltrig on the left. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now John will correct me. VT is not necessarily as sharp as some of the levels, but yeah. If Bruce, you're able to pull up my chart, please. My usual Picasso chart. Yeah, I know you're cursing that thing, David. For the love of God.
I like the levels. The levels are nice, and as far as the hero goes, the hero is tough for me. That's way more difficult for me to interact with that. I've had a lot of issues with it, trying to play with it, and I just can't get it. But the levels, I can understand the levels, and I've been with them for a couple of years now. Hero I've been with for a few months, and it's just I can't get it, man.
Today was absolutely beautiful. We're approaching London Open. I know that's always hindsight, but we're approaching London Open. You've got that VT getting licked and kissed. We've got high lows getting printed through that sort of 30 minutes in. It's my usual MACD down there, Bruce. Yeah, and I got the other KP2 on there, the bits and bobs. And this was, if Vinnie was with me, he'd be telling me I've got a green jacket on this one from today because another one I shouted out for the long. But yeah, it was. It's that hero. John, were you trading at this time?
I wasn't in at this time. No.
Okay, you are.
No.
Back for a kip.
But that vol trigger is a great thing to pay attention to. Brent did a great job with that model. It's not a gamma level per se. It's a value from the gamma levels, but he's basically saying it's the line in the sand as to when you can expect a change in volatility. That's really what it comes down to, and it's
literally to the tick, isn't it, down there? I appreciate it.
Oh gosh, it happens here. It happens in the stocks with the hedge wall, and it really is something to pay attention to in most instances. Yes.
And this went back up, as you know, Bruce. I'm going to say, correct me, guys. This went to about 57, 35, 57, 40.
Yeah, it went a mile.
Yeah, it was. It was a brutal move. It really was.
It was a really brutal move, and it was.
Didn't get to the 50 I wanted, but still,
yeah. It was a lot of it was carried by that ice, and I don't know if I have pictures of it, but I don't actually. But if I pulled up, I could probably take some screenshots. But you can see it just carries. This first of all was like a drift. It was like a breakout. Then at VWAP, it's still breaking out with ice. And then as it keeps going up, it's still like getting this ice play, this high activities of ice, just carrying it all the way up. It was crazy.
Can I just chip in, Bruce? Don't bring up the chart I just had up, but that on my chart there, we had the thick red, and then it went to blue in the center section on my Ninja chart. As FYI, okay. So you got the thick bit in the middle, yeah. That is a David Coolin indicator. That one there, that you're over there, that's from David.
Okay.
That trend, that is one of David's. So you can see where it goes. Purple, which is think about buying, and then it goes to blue, which is drop your linen and get bidding.
Wow, that's cool.
That's a quantum indicator. Yeah.
The what?
That's from Quantum Trading. So that's a guy I've known a long time. Some of you have mentioned him before. So it's like his wife Anna Cooling does a load of trading books, but David's got a whole load of indicators, and I know he's been catching up with you. I think occasionally, Bruce, isn't he, on bits and bobs? So
yeah. I need to get back to him. So
that's one of his. We need those on Bookmap. That's one of his, and it's a beast.
What is that essentially saying to you, though?
The heads up that gives me is that indicator itself, that is an oscillator base type, is saying, yeah, look to go long, not as a trigger, but then if I'm seeing, it's that confluence. I'm seeing that's gone blue. I can see my MACD and my KP2 is turning over. I can see it that lower down, which is the red and green thick line, which is large traders are now starting to buy, because that's gone from red to green. I'm obviously then looking at Bookmap and on no end other sort of things. On the other chart there, sorry, on the same chart, John, the green circles are large lot traders. So where it says 103, that's someone's just put in 103 lot there. So it's part of my confidence thing. I wouldn't just trade per se on the on that one, but it's I like you talk about. I want the swimming with the tide.
Yes.
So to
Right.
speak.
Yeah, instead of getting hammered on the left.
Yeah. So if that was all red and MACD was going the other way, then would I be going long? Possibly not. But then if Hero was, maybe I would. But yeah.
So, David, I'm kind of curious then, like, on this move here.
Yeah.
As you know, I mean, this was more of a grind, and we can see it's on, the higher volumes over here. And then, but this kind of move in here, based off of your kind of indicators and things like in price action, you would go with it, but you wouldn't go with it with volume in here.
Volume was in my mind for what I was. You do have, okay, we've got the mixed bars at the bottom. You have got the green has the edge in terms of the buying on that move up. The thing that you've got there as a photograph or screenshot is the steepness of that curve. Price really was moving and again, time of day. I'm thinking, okay, we've got London closed, we've got that. We had Trump was babbling on about Land Rover subsidies or something like that. Hero had got, again, I keep leaning to John, I'm going to say about 2 billion on spiders. Things were looking, let's go long and let's start scaling, which I did.
Okay. Because I know one of the things you look at is heavy volume.
Very much.
And it moving the market, not just transacting, it's moving. Once you see that, you get very aggressive very, very quickly.
I got into double digits really quickly on this move.
So, but you did take this, even though you don't have that kind of volume.
I did take this, and it was. I guess if I'm trying to sort of interpret it, contradict, it's just the pace. And where you can see the pace on this is how vertical that has come off the vol trigger.
Okay, so
there's a bit of rambling on from kissing the vol trigger. You're then printing higher lows, and then it just started scooting. It really started scooting.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of started this webinar off, and you'd mentioned about, like, you kind of have to be there and feel it.
You do.
And you had a feel for the price action and movement, and that's what got you also involved.
It did. And what I was talking about in most people probably heard it, Bruce. So I was to say, can you pull up another chart? And I'm going to lean into John to talk about this one. John, it's a trace chart. I don't know if you can. This is Brent's trace one, and Jack was saying when we were sort of talking about beers and so forth. So I'm going to say, then John will correct me. On the far left, there's a whole load of dealer stuff with a lot of nasty red stuff, and the price. The expectation was, as with the 0 DTE, as we got into the cash close at 4 o'clock, this would sell off. John, help me, please.
Yeah.
Thanks, David.
The run up to 57.15, inside that circle, just above the big red bar that goes to the left, just above that at 57.15. So right there, exactly. What those vertical hash marks are telling you is where that was 15 and 30 minutes ago. So they were showing a lot of GEX up there at 57.15. And then as prices went up to that level, which was also the 1-day high, in fact, I traded that, the that GEX level was sold off. And so you see that bar shrink back. That's what that's showing you. And that's basically indicating the high up there. Right there, right
So
where you're saying.
this
Okay.
one.
So that was once, all the way out full. That's what those hash marks are telling you. It's showing you how far out that was extended. So as that move was up there, there was a lot of GEX up there. Was a lot of positive GEX up there. And then once, and we talked about this, I think a couple of weeks ago, Bruce. Once they achieved at the money, they're going to start monetizing those gains. And so the hedgers can take off their hedge, and that's what that's showing you when that starts to go back to zero. That demand has now been resolved by traders closing off their calls. That's what that's saying, and that's why that marked that high very nicely up there.
And as soon as they start, and what you're looking for and anticipating is once this starts to happen, these guys that are the dealers that had to accumulate all of this on the move, they now don't have to hold. You're expecting this kind of move and this kind of move for them to start dumping, basically.
I go off the right side of the scale. Okay, on the right side of that vertical scale.
Over here?
No, back over where you were on the. I'm sorry. Yeah, on the left-hand side, there's a vertical line there. You have blue bars or magenta bars going off to the right, and then you have red bars going off to the left. Okay, bars going off to the right represent the exposure of the dealers. That's what I pay attention to.
Got you.
Okay, it means that customers are long on those positions that go off to the right. That's positive GEX. Negative GEX, that's the dealer side. I'm not concerned with them. I'm concerned about their risk that they're taking. Okay. So when those bars are extended to the right, that's positive GEX, and that's what's on their books. That's what they have to cover. So that's why they're buying along with the market as it goes up to 57.15. And then once those calls meet at the money, well, then they're going to start monetizing those, and that risk comes off. So that's what I pay attention to. I really don't look to the left. That's what I'm interested in on the right-hand side. Okay. So at this point up here, what I'm looking for is I want to look higher to see if they're rolling up, to see if traders are rolling up. That would add positive GEX up there.
I see. So
right?
it
didn't happen.
Okay.
It did. In fact, that went away as well. What was up there, 20, 25, 30, 57.30, that went away as well, right? They gave up on that.
Yeah. What is this here?
That's the dealer's position. On to the right is a trader's position.
Okay, understood. But this didn't scare you here, or you just don't care about it.
No, that's not my concern.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's why we got John to talk about it, Bruce.
Because what that shows you is that they're essentially short those calls.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's good for them. I'm worried about where they're going to get hammered, what their risk is, and that's off to the right. That's how I use it.
Okay. Interesting.
Whereas me, in my broader sense, I'm seeing a lot of red on the left. I'm seeing red on the right-hand side of that chart. And so I'm cautious that when I see all of that, John, I'm thinking, we're unlikely to have a champagne rally through the close into ETH.
So you're looking at the heat map over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
As it was developing. So sometimes that can all be that purple or blue sort of color. You think, okay, we're unlikely to sell off. We're more likely to rally into the through the close. But John's quite right. There's also a lot of attention needed on the left-hand side of the chart. But I rely on other people. That's the thing here, Bruce. I rely on all the chat in the Discord. Everyone's screaming these things out to me. So yeah, I'm a lazy trader, you know.
Wow, cool. Hey, Bruce, can you grab the ice image one more time? That black and white one, though, in the chat.
All right.
Oops.
Hold on. Yeah, there we go.
So like here, if you see the magenta, the pink spikes on the subgraph, that's absorption. So if you go to the left absorption, to the furthest left one,
Over here?
yeah, that one there, and then go up to the bubble, and then you see where that liquidity is at, and then market goes up from here, and then liquidity kind of backfills on the bid, right where we left off. So if you drag the absorption zone, so grab that bubble and drag a horizontal line to the right. Yeah, grab it and pull it to the right. Pull it all the way to the there. Yeah, there you go. So that if I'm looking at Interact, it really just swept that zone on the news. Well, first it comes down and almost bounces off of it. You can see where it first bounces off it at 1050, and it goes up to VWAP, and then the news comes in and slams it down all the way through vol trigger. And for me, there's really nowhere here for me to interact. And until it finally actually comes out of that absorption zone. But you can see it really just comes out and it doesn't really back test it that well. So really when I entered at 1105 as it's coming out.
Nice.
And it's like a breakout. It's like a breakout trade. But see, if I took that long, which I did, like at 11, I'm taking a stop on that breakout trade.
And you
It's
have
not
London
really
close in mind? Sorry. Ish.
I was
Not enough.
looking, not enough. Well, yeah,
Not enough.
I was
Okay.
looking for the
Okay.
pullback. So like it's the
Yeah.
pre-London close pullback, the 11 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking for something, and I can't really quite read it. I was still looking long though, because I was seeing that this level was first respected once in the morning at 10, and then it comes back down. I'm like, okay, well here's the bounce for the intermediate time frame long to go long. And this was the intermediate, but it got slammed, and it got slammed hard. And it's crazy because you're right, that vol trigger, and I think I did miss the vol trigger. I think I missed it, but it held it to like the tip. And even then, I wasn't really able to get in until that zone. For me, anyway. I don't know if you were able to catch the bottom on that.
I did, if I can say that arrogantly. Yeah. And I posted it, but yeah, I'm all over the park tonight, I'm afraid, Bruce. Can I get you to lean into another chart I just posted here? David, it is a
before you leave this one. Oh damn.
Oh, sorry.
no.
John, you had something?
Just real quick. I just wanted to underscore. You had liquidity in the market starting at 10:12 in the morning, and that's where they came in right at vol trigger, and that's how Bookmap works very nicely with spot gamma. It will confirm the levels for you. So even before, as the market was coming down, they started adding liquidity down there at 10:12 a.m. Right, even further down, right down to where vol trigger is. That's an indicator right there.
Yeah,
And it's like we were talking earlier. They wanted to engage in price there, right at the vol trigger. In fact, they still stayed in there. Even when the market went up a bunch of handles, they still kept their liquidity in there. So they wanted to get filled, as Bruce often talks about. And I think about that when we come up on these levels with that liquidity staying in the book. It finally goes down there. So I can see why David, I didn't trade this, but I can see why David did, because it's been laying in there waiting for it. And of course, I know he has some other trigger points, and I'm not sure what Hero was doing here, but certainly at 11:05, Hero is probably shooting up. But I just wanted to make mention to that, how valuable that liquidity map is to planning out your framework from which you're working in combination with these levels, because they're calculated from the night before, right? I mean, they're calculated based upon the open interest and close the day before. But I just think it's extraordinary how in real time Bookmap is going to confirm that for you.
Really cool.
Right?
Great shot.
Yeah, really, really great, John. Thank you. It's like the crystal ball.
And even then, I mean, if you're not into catching like knives or whatever that is, that breakout long would have been it.
Yeah.
Where I was talking about, it's basically breaking this consolidation, breaking out high, and then if you still miss that, then you'd be entering at VWAP, which is where all that ice popped off,
And it's some of
and
those
hope
sort of
that it keeps going.
big time, and it's some of those sort of softer things. So yeah, I've got
Yeah.
my news score because a lot of us do.
Yep.
But if the price is moving at pace, and I'm thinking something, if I say positive, you can criticize me on that, but something positive has been said about tariffs or whatever it is, and that's why the price is moving. Trade and then look at the squawk.
Mhm.
That's what I do. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Looks good. DNT, like, I still like, just if I can give some feedback. You're looking at a lot of things, and really starting to understand them, and how they're working for you. And then I think you're kind of still judging though if you like them or not. And I think because we've seen you kind of dabble like over the recent months, like, that a few started to resonate with you more, and then you started to kind of come up with your checklist and your game plan. And I would just try to encourage you, maybe uh, start to uh, take more away, and focus on more, a few things, and then study those things. And I know that sounds so cliche, and I kind of cringe to say it, but it's just, there's a couple things in here. It was really Laura that made me come up with this comment here, because I made it, like she said, like a year ago, or I don't know, a long time ago. I was 17 markups, and then she said, "Well, I'm going to go do 17 markups of this thing now." It's like, whoa, Laura. Okay, that's it. That's what we need. That's a missing piece in here. Let's build out our playbook, and let's build that edge. Now you have an edge, type of thing. And boy, it's not easy in this environment, I don't think, but because it's so volatile. But still, go with those things that kind of resonate, and try it. Just try it and filter out the rest. And this way, like, you know what you're looking for. You're keeping it simple, and just get really good at that setup, that one setup, and only take that. And then just try it as an experiment for, like, a couple of weeks, and see how it works for you. See if it does work. Just put everything else on the back burner, and try this. And if it doesn't work for you, maybe that's fine. But keep it in mind of maybe trying it next month or something, until you find that thing that resonates with you. You like it. It works for you. You have a good feeling about it. You've had lots of successful trades. You know it kind of works. You just want to build an edge on it, and then get your markups, and look up the specifics, and then now you've got a playbook started.
Yeah.
So try it, and
Okay.
if at least what you're going to have, if you do this and you walk away, at least you'll have tried it, and you'll have a playbook. And maybe it's not for you, but maybe the next one is. You said, yeah, you know what, I tried it on this one, I don't really like that one. But maybe the next one after that, you try it, and it really hits home. And then now you've got it, and now you can really hone that one strategy. Once you've got one, like I run into this problem all the time. I ran into it, I think, I don't know if it was Monday or last week or something. It was like I was trading the wrong strategy, or a good strategy at the wrong time, and I was trying to force it. and like it's like, no, I really want to show you guys this. I really, it's great. And like, and it just wasn't the right time where so you can come up with one, but you need more than just one. You need like maybe two or three, maybe 2 to 4, something like that. Simple things that you can trade all the time. And if one isn't really working, the other one will be more likely to be working for you. But you got to start with one. And let's do it. Let's build out our playbooks and become a kind of resident expert on it. Anyway,
Perfect.
a suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I got a couple playbooks like on a lot of like Tom's trades. Tom's got they're all basically, it's like mean reversion trades or like continuation trades, and like VWAP to VPOC, it's like an inside out. That would be like a continuation trade, right? So if you're looking for a directional, in this case, this was like a mean reversion trade here. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, I got like stats on them or playbook, and it's just now I've honed it down to kind of like where I'm trying to interact at the absorption zones, and sometimes like that, because that's usually like a level where higher, where you might see a pivot or something like that. So I'm usually interacting there, and to interact on, like, let's say I'm trading the IB failure trade, which is a mean reversion trade back to the mean. Well, I'm not really entering at the IB because I mean, you don't, because it's kind of just a level, and you don't really know if that's going to hold. It's more of like an intraday level. So that's why I'm interacting at the absorption zones. But as you can see here, the IB low actually did get chopped up. And yeah. Anyways, I know what you're saying, and sometimes the absorption zones hold, and sometimes they don't. And it's like, well, I'm kind of playing around, trying to play a mean reversion trade, and you don't really know how far it's going to go. But yeah, it's always tough, man.
Well,
yeah, I see what you're saying, because things, yeah, I was going to say, because things change and the market changes, and when it changes, that one strategy, like the absorption zones, were good at one point, and now they're not so good at this point when the relative volume is low. So when things work and you do this work at one point, and then you do the work at another point, or then you do it at this another point in the future, it might be different,
absolutely. I mean, this like makes traders have to quit the game, or they have to adapt. I can't think of. I know he's right here in the room, but like I can't come up with a better example than John. He adapted. It's like, well, what's going on out there in this environment? Like, this is not working, or it's getting kind of scary. It's too much risk. I don't like the volatility. What did he do? I mean, 4 things, or 3 things. Like, number one is he traded ETH, and number 2, he would trade different instruments. Number 3, like, oh God, John, you tell me, you're here.
No, you go right ahead.
I like those. I like those options. Yeah.
He did change up some of the things he was looking at, and maybe he didn't have hero on some of those charts. Like, I don't know if he did on gold, if it was available, or so then maybe he'd be looking at some stocks, or maybe he'd be looking at the VWAP, and or like, I've seen him like kind of take like bits and pieces from the academy, or maybe some webinars, or like talking with Moby or something, and then study that and go, I kind of like that. I'm going to put that in and see how it goes, and then kind of test it out, and then like I may, if I like it and it starts to work for me, and I get some results from it, I may bring this into my strategy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree.
Love
Yeah, I mean, John, please
Correct.
help me and correct me.
No,
Yeah.
no, you're spot on. I mean, hero comes into play with trading the stock indexes and the stocks for sure. For gold, you can look at it on GLD, but it's really not as prominent as what you see with the SPY and the SPX. And even with oil, oil and gold, they're order flow trades. Period.
Yeah.
Off of VWAP, liquidity, and volume. Those three things play into that. And so, yeah, I kind of had to change my approach a little bit. The very basic precepts are the same. I mean, I'm always looking for where the liquidity is for targets. That's always the case. I'm looking for the imbalance, whether there's more liquidity below or above. I'm looking for where VWAP is. And then I'm looking for an order flow event to trade off of. Stop runs, sweeps, things like that. But yeah, I had to change up a little bit. I trade mostly at night because I'm not comfortable with the risk during the day. I don't want to get caught up in a headline. And when I do trade during the day, I'm really very small. I trade it the same way. I'm just concerned about getting on the wrong side of a headline and getting wiped out. So that's what I've done. That's the adjustments that I've made. What Bruce talked about, and then of course if I'm in during the day, I'm at micro size.
Yeah. I mean, John, what was so phenomenal was, although you'd mentioned this, I was like, "Whoa, what are you doing? Like, these are this is crazy. Like, this we haven't seen you do this before." And it's like, yeah, actually, no, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I hung up one time. I was like, "Hey, what is wrong with him? Well, what is wrong with me?" But yeah, the basic precepts are there, and that underscores what you were talking about, Bruce. You'll find your way, DNT. You look at it long enough and hard enough, you'll find the very basic tenets that make sense to you, that match up with your risk profile and your risk tolerance, and that'll be the staple for what you do, and then you build onto that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, because you've done really deep studies, DNT, like over the years, and on many different things, and it's all good stuff. I mean, you're digesting all of it, you're seeing it, you're marking it all up, and then I see some trades off of it, but I kind of I kind of don't see you take it further. I think the closest was like some of Tom's, with like the VWAP to VPOC, or some of these. And I don't know, maybe that wasn't the right one for you though. Maybe something else is. And but I don't know. That's one of the reasons I tried to come up with some of this criteria in here, of what's moving the market, their higher time frame key levels, and this is also for Rob Davis. He was looking at and getting some real nice trades off of Hero, and looking at higher time frame options levels. Time of day, we've talked about this a lot, and then your checklist. So I guess we can add in here another thing too, but it would be kind of in your checklist. Would be like an order flow phenomena, like John mentioned that you may consider, because you've done that work already, like with your in the subchart, your sweeps and absorption. You've already got it. You've already done the work. I think you just need to put it into the right context here of your higher time frame and time of day and checklist, and then you've got it. Anyway, try it. I mean, like as a side study, and I'm hoping it helps you. I mean, if you don't have to, of course, there's so many different ways to trade, but that's kind of one of the reasons why we put this together, was to go over some pretty simple supply and demand trades, here, and at least if something in here doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. You'll probably find though some ideas that might resonate with you in here. So like this one here is such a good one. We talked to Dean, Trading His Life about this one. Is you've got your really, really powerful one here of absorption on this leg here, and then followed by exhaustion on the next leg over here, right? You've got all of this liquidity in here, up at a level. It's downtrending. It's a pullback, and absorption, some selling here, exhaustion, can't even make a higher high. Look for the selling to come in. Look for your liquidity. Bottom of the range, take some off just to hit the single, and then look for the higher time frame liquidity. Anyway, just some thoughts.
I mentioned this to you. This one was beautiful. That was beautiful, actually. So with the absorption zones, that would be like I kind of categorize it into like two things. So like of the absorption zone continuation, which is like a continuation trade, which is what you actually just showed right there, where it's downtrending. You get the absorption, which is those large buy deltas. You get then you get that CVD accumulation at the top, which you don't always see with the continuation trades, but you do see that absorption with those large buy bubbles at the top. So that was actually beautiful. What I look for is you don't see like seller buyers like really, or they kind of start to fade off once they start to go into that and the liquidity starts building up. You don't really see any buyers after that. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what we're looking
Yeah, that
for.
was a
It's like
beautiful-
now there's not buyers. Okay, so that's a good sign. Now the question though is, do we find sellers? Because if we don't, we're probably just going to chop. Right? We need to get those aggressors to come in and say like, hey, you know what? This is not worth it up here. I want to trade it back down to here or back down to here. And I don't know. I'm kind of convinced like this is for debate and maybe just for fun. But auction market theory, and why do so many futures traders trade auction market theory? I kind of speculate that it's because we're just trading it back and forth with each other all day long. Like
ping pong.
Yeah, stocks are different. I mean, it's moving. It can be different. When stocks are moving, it's moving for a reason. There's stocks all day long that are moving for a reason. But, the S&P might be moving a little bit for that reason. It might not be, some earnings with some other stock, like, S&P could be going down. That stock could be going up 100%, 400%. It's a very different, you're trading with a very different crowd. Anyway, now I'm starting to babble. Let's move.
That's an interesting thought. That's for sure.
Let's move on. I don't know. Did everyone have their say? I don't want to cut anyone off.
No. Can I get you to pull the chart from the chat again, please? Sorry.
We want me to put a sock in it, is what you're trying to tell me?
No. It's a book. This is a bookmap chart. This is not one of my holiday snaps, please, Bruce. It was. This sort of is a thread with Tom. So as you guys know, Tom's a really good friend, and whenever him and I catch up, he's always he talks about source. He's on about your secret source, and we share. So this isn't necessarily about my trade I took today, but use the word but. We've talked extensively now about that rip up into the London close, really rip. What is David doing as a scalper? Exactly, Bruce. I'm thinking the market's ripping. Okay, I'm going to have a go on that. And I'm then thinking, what are my other tabs I've got? What are they going to do? So Trump said something. Indices are going up. The dollar's going up. Then that means 6B or Betty, as it's known by traders, that's pound dollar, is going to go down. I glance across on the chart. the top thick purple line or thin purple line, Bruce, as you know better than me, is my voodoo, is my VWAP. We've been talking about those volume bars and all the other things going on. David gets short, and this goes down a cent pretty damn quickly.
Nice.
And look at it. That 1600 is it. That's that. 4 o'clock UK time. We've got 30 minutes in the London close. I've got this into. I think it's Greg's right up. It might be flick it, and I appreciate it's about getting your head around multiple assets and so forth. But to that playbook we've just talked about, if you're getting a bit of chop here, a bit of chop there, and then think, actually, what else can I play? And this is just such a simple trend down. I mean, John, you and I are forever playing gold and oil. That's for sure. Because they love to trend. Look at this here. It's not violent pullbacks. It's a steady step down. Bruce, you can talk to this chart a lot better than me, I think.
I mean, I love the way you even describe it. Is like you start to see that volume pick up, you spank a few more in, you take some off, you see a little more volume, you spank a few more in, you take it off. You're already in, and then you're getting even more aggressive.
That's it. Yep.
Jesus, it's great. It's great. I love it. I'm just not as aggressive like that.
You will be one day, Bruce. You will be one day. you get yourself down to Queens. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Or even Woodside. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So, anyway, I mean, you're finding another opportunity. What is that? Was your kind of main point, right?
Multi-dimension within my
Gotcha.
my playbook, my workbook sort of thing. I've got the indices going. Okay, hang on. What else is going to happen? So I'm flicking across at gold. Gold's going south. I've got some of that. Oils here and there. Oil was fantastic today. John, I don't know if oil playing up to $60. It was just thick blood, thick liquidity. Off it went again. Yeah.
So, David, could you discuss your preference of British pound versus the euro or the yen?
I don't. Is this really the only one I trade? To be honest, John, I even think back to 2016 when all I did, I'll say like you, Bruce, was trade forex. Even then, when I would have currency strength indicators and all this other jazz going on, it was just the British pound that I was trading about. Now, I was talking about this with, if I can say, Mike, Mike in SpotCam. I had a good call with him this week, chewing fat and so forth about things. And I was fortunate as a story through 2016, Bruce, because you had the Brexit vote, and you've just been a hero. You've just been a hero in terms of trading pound dollar. We'd had the Scottish independence referendum as well. So I just got really grooved within that pound dollar and so forth. So yeah, I'm rambling. Yeah, I guess in the past I've looked at dollar, the yen, the euro, but yeah, yourself, are you more leaning on the euro, if any of them?
Some time ago, I've done the euro.
Okay.
I just felt like the British pound was a bit too noisy for me, as was the yen. Long time ago, forever ago, I traded the Swiss forever ago. That was just my impression. So you're going after the movement. When it does move, I mean, it'll really go.
Oh, this is here. You can see that they're just dumping the pound, they're buying the dollar, and of course, as say you guys will remind me of, those dollars can be actually not for speculative. It's because people, they want to get hold of dollars because they're buying certain assets and all those other complicated things that are going on. But this is just a typical move on the pound dollar.
I'm going to take a look at it. I monitor the dollar by tracking the Japanese yen and the futures. That's what I do. That gives me what I need to know about the dollar.
And it's not bad liquidity if we look at the book further down. I appreciate when you go to the top of the book, but there's some decent. You're not going to get torn anew and getting out of a couple of contracts. That's for sure.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's a shame the stops don't really work, Bruce. They show up, don't they? The stops and icebergs, but I don't think they mean much, really.
Yeah, no, I think there's something about the I think it's the stops don't work or something. I can't recall.
With
futures currencies. But yeah, no, I mean there you go. I mean that's another way of diversifying or looking into like other instruments that uh, can help you with your trading, and maybe you're looking at correlations, or maybe you want to just branch out, and it's like, wow, okay, this isn't moving, but wow, this kind of is, and I'm looking for it to move for these reasons, and it is, so I'm going to get involved.
That's it. And I haven't got a gold chart to hand. John might, but the way that gold has been dumped over the past couple of days, it's really like people are not getting out of gold, but gold's going south. So it can be an easier trade, but John, you might say it's not.
It has its moments for sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, a huge run
Mm.
in the afternoon down, a couple of
Yeah.
spikes down for big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and and I put that in the same camp. I've been looking at that during the during the
Yeah.
ETH, and not so much during the day, because headlines will drive that thing,
Big
and
time.
if you're on the wrong side of it, it can really rip you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if John or David, if you had any comments about that, getting in with one and starting off with one setup and building out the playbook. Uh, this is kind of when Laura came up with it. Well, actually, I have some more to say about it actually, and how this came up, and some good news for you guys. But any comments on this? And is this a good direction for us in the academy? Try this out.
Yeah. John, please.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I um, try to find that one. For me, it's always been around the levels. And in fact, when I started with Bookmap, it was either the call wall, put wall, or vol trigger, um, and where I could line a Bookmap up next to those and then build out from there. It may be a VWAP that you could build out from. I particularly like the gamma levels because I know what's behind them. But I agree with that completely, and then build out from there. I just wanted to mention one thing. The video series I thought was really nicely done,
Mhm.
and I watched it once, and I'm watching it again, and I'm pulling out keywords that are used in there. And I've actually edited my checklist so that they complement and use those same words. So my hope is that when I share my charts, everybody's going to know what I'm talking about. And I've actually adapted and said I'm just not looking at liquidity, but I'm looking at demand liquidity, and I'm looking at supply liquidity. And my hope is that I'll be a bit more clear. And it has helped me because what it's done is it's created a list of reserved words that I'm using in my work, so that I know exactly what I'm drawing from. And that's all shown in the course there, the several chapters that are in there. Every one of the things that I'm trying to annotate to my charts are described in this series. So I was hoping that that would help make my charts at least a little bit more clear.
You're talking about this new series here.
This course, yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
new course,
Okay.
yeah, where you go into real supply and demand, and where you talk about where I see absorption rather than just saying, volume filled or liquidity filled. I'm putting in absorption. I'm using these key words so that hopefully it'll clarify for myself exactly what I'm looking at and what I'm drawing an impetus from. So that, but like I said, it was very nicely done, and I've drawn from getting those keywords onto my charts, so that I'm running sort of in line with what's been presented here, and I think it represents the best way to use Bookmap.
Oh wow! Thank you so much, John. It's really
That's what
quite a nice compliment.
it meant to me.
It's funny. Like it's exactly. There was a kind of a chat that irked me in the Bookmap Academy room that Vinnie, I think, talked about like a liquidity grab or something, and like I was like, yeah, I know what trader or educator came up with that, and I was just like, but it's so vague, and it doesn't. I don't know. I just didn't find that. I thought it was misleading,
Yeah.
and it's just like now everyone's going to be misled though.
Yes.
All that.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's going to trickle down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
we're already seeing it. I've seen some examples of some others picking up on that, and I'm just thinking, no, you don't want to do that because I know the pain behind it. And I see the same thing with a lot of the dotted lines, like a lot of the standard deviation lines that a lot of people use, and I don't see them as relevant. What we've talked about so far in this session drives the market. It has what we're measuring is influence in the market. David talked about it with liquidity and volume.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this can be simplified by staying
Yes.
focused on those order flow elements and simple liquidity and volume.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. I'd echo all of that there, Bruce. If in terms of one setup, if I think most of you got to know how I trade.
Yeah.
Very simple. It is a KISS thing. It is that levels and flow. What are those levels? Exactly what John talks about, a mix of the old school voodoo,
Mhm.
ORB, obviously, if I ape towards Laura and others, is a key thing for me. And then time of day. But it's that pace, as I've talked about as well. It's levels and flow, but that flow is pace, speed, volume coming in, volume bars, volume bubbles, etc., etc. And maybe not quite as binary as you are, John, in terms of it's going to work or not. I can give it a little bit more, but we're shades of grey here. I know that. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not a wide stop person. You've seen that with my setups. I'm
Right.
not
Yeah.
in it. Give it 20 handles, you'll be fine, David. It will come back. No.
Yeah.
And then if there is those markups, Bruce, it is because if we look at, I know Moby was looking at some of my posts, and I put my hands up. I don't write detailed posts as you've seen. As I say, John, I see your posts, you see mine. Mine are much more like that 6B one. They're sort of like I'm trying to help other traders in the moment so they can see politely what David is doing. I
Right.
don't want them to tag along, Bruce, but I also want them to think if they were thinking of going like on the reversal we talked about earlier on in terms of vol trigger, they can see that someone like me, and I say that rudely and arrogantly, is actually going long. If they were thinking of going long, or more the other way, if they're thinking of going short, they think, well, what? I don't want to go short against David. I'm saying that really rudely, Bruce. Catch me. You know what I mean? And those are my 20 markups really around that VPA, everything else, and then those time of days of like, okay, we're coming to London close. We're coming up to lunchtime. We're coming up to when I'm trading with John in terms of the European Open and all those other things. But it's all around that KISS thing, John, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
It really is. Yep.
We actually have a playbook in the time of day thread. I think David posted a whole bunch of stuff in there, and I organized it. Somebody else, I forgot, it was your friend's name that trades the. I think he's over there as well on the other side of the pond, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, we have a playbook of time of days in there as well. It's not really that organized though. We have to probably you know, that time of day is it's a huge deal.
It is, and it can be self-fulfilling. So repeating what we
And
talked about before.
and its own playbook. Its own
Yeah,
playbook as well. Yeah.
hey, today, those trades that we were taking, the market moved aggressively up in that sort of 30, 40 minutes into the London close. And I'm sure where the trigger point, whether it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 15 minutes before, but that certainly for me, as you were showing in your chart with the eyes, it's given me confidence to bid very aggressively because I know we're getting into that close, that Europe, and it's not just London, it's European close, as Laura will rightly correct me. Something else. And that's all you need. We've talked over the months, haven't we? You might say, Bruce, over the years, well, some great trades by the Academy boys and girls where they're going in, they're taking 3 handles out, 4 handles out. We've seen that with Rob and others, to name but one. That's all you need. Just have the confidence to be able to go in there, see your setup, have that within your playbook and do it. That's all you need. That's all you need. Says me.
I mean, it's funny. Like you guys mentioned this, and then we'll get back to the charts. But like, I mean, this session is it's not about us. It's about the Academy members and getting them up
Yes.
on the mic and
Yeah.
us, trying to help and give any kind of feedback that we can. And open it up for people and get that kind of attention. That's what we want to do here, not jabber about like setups and stuff. But the simplicity though in what you guys are talking about, like I just kind of wanted to add one more thing on it. And funny enough, I don't know how it came up on my YouTube channel, but like a bunch of kind of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger videos started popping up, and I'm watching them, and okay, they use this kind of Midwestern kind of oh shucks, type of logic, and it's kind of funny, but there's such wisdom behind it, such simple things that are the opposite. It's like, no, don't dig deeper into it, or go deeper into it and study it more and more and more. Do the opposite. Like, well, I only need to know this much, and I can stop there. Now I need to know how to execute around it. And that, I mean, I cringe to say some of the things like, oh, if you're digging yourself a hole, like stop digging, whatever it might be. But there's some simple wisdom, and it's the opposite of the way that we are kind of known to act, the way we were raised or going to school or university.
You're over it completely. You are completely. And if I can, sorry, John, if I can mention Tom again. So we all know Tom is a phenomenal trader, institutional trader all his life. He's a million times better trader than I'll ever be. The way he understands his phenomenal setups and playbooks and everything else. And he teases me a bit because I'm really simple. And when I used to trade with him on Skype and other things many years back, Bruce, as you'll know, with Moby as well. And it'd be like, well, why have you gone long? I go, well, it's just, I'm going long. And it just simply that KISS thing of just, I feel it, I see it, and then I've got a couple of indicators, and in I go. Whereas other traders are looking for something a little bit more technical. Find your own game, Bruce.
Yeah.
That's the thing. As you're saying here, work on your sort of what works for you, and then just
Everyone wants to make it complex. And what's interesting is that when you see the progression of people, it always goes in one direction: cleaner charts, less stuff.
Yeah. Me, I've said it before, and I said it when I was chatting to Mike this week. Great guy. I don't know if you talked to him, Johnny. Great guy. I trade now with one screen. You want to laugh at me? I used to have that big. I know you've got quite a few, John. I used to have a lot of those, and I'm now down to one. It's a Samsung Odyssey, 244 hertz thing. It's a beast because I want to be able to go back to simplicity of being able to trade on my MacBook, so I can do that anywhere in the world. It's my dream. Yeah. Keeping it simple, and I can do that on Bookmap. I'm trying to ape what Bruce does, just simple, Bruce. Got to come back to your webbies, Bruce. That's what I got to do, so I can learn how to trade just on one chart.
Yeah, I think that some real good wisdom from you two. And John, I like your comment just there in the end. Like, we all know how to make it complex.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
interesting when you go back and review it. It's like, oh gosh, this is a lot easier than I made it out to be. And you do that a couple of hundred times, and you think, this is getting expensive. I better simplify this. And I think that's what you're going to find with the current people that are in this room. You'll see over time that the charts will get a little less busy, and it will be more towards order flow, volume, and liquidity. Yeah.
I mean,
it'll be fun to watch.
I'm on about David all the time, but that 6B chart you're on, Bruce, it was that, and that's 101. We've got we've got the order flow event, we've got the news, we've got the time of day coming to London close, we've got VWAP play, which, as John rightly reminded us, in commodities can really have a key sort of thing, and and you got the volume there. It's all happening. And why would you want to go long on that? Oh, why would you want to go long? Trump's on the podium. Go short.
Yeah.
Simple,
Really.
John.
Yeah.
Simple. Really simple.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
There's more to this though, David, in terms of in terms of simplicity that's not here on the chart, and this is the same with some of John's trades as well. Of like, this instrument,
I do,
and you know how it moves as well, and you know that there's a lot of kind of fundamental stuff going on right now. And you know that in the back of your mind today it's happening. So you're going, yeah, you know what, I'm pretty sure this is going to go down, but now, and the stock market's going up. I'm looking though for an event in here. Now this is where it gets into exactly what John is saying. Like, I have my higher time frame level on the VWAP. I've got the volume starting to curl around like this. You got your sweeps or your absorption, and now that volume's starting to come in, and you're looking for this to drop. And you like to see that volume, and you start getting real aggressive.
That's it. And there is obviously, you're right, there's more to this chart. If we were going to the left, then the price had to consolidate a little bit. 3 o'clock my time in New York, you get the options fixing on the Forex, and I didn't look on Forex Flow what they were, but they can run into billions as well. So I put my hands up. This isn't necessarily a novice chart, but my point I'm trying to get across is you can keep it simple, or we're all trying to get across. You can keep it simple. It's
Well, I mean,
David,
sorry, go ahead, John.
I'm sorry. No, you go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, but that I think another simple wisdom though is this instrument. You've traded it pretty.
Oh, I do.
You live in the UK. You know this instrument, so like that's such an edge right there. So Anyway, John, sorry.
David, have you worked with the 6B and Trader Map Pro to congregate some of the liquidity levels to highlight the larger players?
I do have Trader Map Pro running for all the instruments and so, but it's not on the tab there. I haven't found it as useful as some other assets instruments, but I do run it.
Okay.
And I think I have it set at 10, so I don't see anything below 10 contracts on the book. What's been very powerful, and again, I do post that when I'm trading this one, is large lot traders, Bruce. LLTs.
Mm-hmm.
You can see a little bit of those in there, but my ORB I keep saying on Laura because I know she's an ORB fan. My ORB and my tick charts are set at 8 a.m. UK time when London goes, John. And the book you're on about, Trader Map Pro, when you see those large lot traders, some days those liquidity levels can be 200-300 contracts deep, and it can be over 50, 60, 70% is just one trader.
Yeah.
So it gives you a pretty good indication of where we may be going during the morning. No, great question, John. Great point.
No, Bookmap did a great job with that because it's right there. It's very visual. You're not sifting through a lot of data. That's what I love about it. That it's so visual. And it's easy to pick up on a lot of information. And I thought that was just really clever the way that they did that.
They're really good. Really good.
That must have been Bruce to put that in there.
No, far from it. That was Sergey, our CTO, and very early on in Bookmap, like 10 years ago, he put it in there. He scoured. He's incredible. I mean, he scoured through orders, like the actual orders feeds,
Okay.
you know,
Gee.
looking at the individual orders from the,
Needles.
oh yeah. And then when the MBO data came out,
Yeah.
he was, you wouldn't even see the guy. The guy was like
Yeah.
studying it to death, you know.
Yeah.
And he showed me like, here is the feed. You see this? You see that? There, that's an iceberg right there. And
Yeah.
see how
Whoa.
they moved it down. They canceled it there and they moved it down there.
Yeah.
He even showed me, this was crazy. Like, well, many different things. Like he'll say like, okay, you see the some of the transactions, like let's say down here, and then you see some of this liquidity come in. Like, I'm not, this is a bad example because it's, you know, it's pretty high liquidity in here, but like about 100 milliseconds after this order is filled, you see a stop loss and a take profit. And it's like, I know that that's that trader who put in those bracketed orders, you know.
Yeah.
Is
because that'll be linked to the same transaction ID, right?
That's, well, not only the transaction ID, but it was just it was the time.
Yeah,
it was time. Like just,
and then the stop orders actually have a suffix to them or
that's right.
something in there that identifies them. Yeah,
that's right. So
as you were showing, Bruce, that second deviation line down the bottom's not a bad support SNR level, is it really? When you look at it,
this one here.
No, good. The dotted line.
Deviation. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's not a bad support and resistance level either. Looking at it, yeah. This is when I just left alone. I got in and I was back. Yeah, I thought, that'll go south, and off it did.
To touch on what you said, Bruce, where you learn something and you've learned it, and instead of delving in and delving in and delving in, you take what you learned, and then you keep practicing it, and it gets internalized. It goes to like the unsubconscious memory and the unsubconscious or the what is it called, our intuition. And our intuition kind of works in the background, and as we perceive all these things, we and it's because we've practiced it. We took that thing that we learned, and we've practiced it and practiced it and practiced it, and now it's intuition, and now it like goes off of our charts now, and we don't really need to come back to it because now it's in our subconscious, and we already kind of have an idea of like what happened, what's the overall trend. Do I want to, and then you're in that trend. Let's say the context is in the back of your mind, and that's your intuition is like you want to interact on the intermediate time frame. And so like that's in the back of your head, and that's where your time frame is. And so so your conscious now is focused not on all these like all kinds of different like components like that we see on a chart, on like in the academy where everything's so complex, where we somebody who has it more simplified, where it's really just all comes down to just order flow, the liquidity, and that is in like most situations when we're trading, we just mostly kind of need to be aware of what's happening around us, and like Bookmap gives us that idea of what is happening around us. Whereas all this other stuff that we've learned in the past that you're talking about, that we've learned, we've internalized it and we've conceptualized it, and that's in our subconscious. It's in the background. We're still acting on it, and it is very complex, and it's not simple. It takes a lot of practice to get to that point. But it's after it's internalized. Now you're in, and then when you're sitting down and you're focusing on what's happening around you at this point.
It's and that muscle memory, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in the back. Yeah, it's the muscle memory, and that's being held. And then your main processor, your main processing unit, which is like you're focused in right now, like that needs to be on full throttle on what's going on around you, and what you've already internalized, which is like the context, the higher time frame context, and all this other stuff is like still there, but it's in the background and it's not working as hard. You're working less to get more because you've already processed all that. So it's like,
Yeah.
It's easy. We say it's easy, and we want less, and of course we all wanted less, but it's not really less because we've digested that information. We've already yeah, but it takes practice, and you got to keep doing it, and it's not
You do.
easy.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, keep dumb it down. What works for you, and just get good at that. And look, where it's not easy is the market shift, the environment shifts. All these things kind of change, and then like, well, now what do you do? And you always have to be kind of like studying and uh, looking at stuff, but you're not necessarily trading it, but you're finding out about it. Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many traders like I've come across that have come to Bookmap that are real high-end traders, and they're still looking, they're still interested. It's not like, and they're trading like, massive amounts of money for hedge funds or institutions or whatever. And they're intrigued, they want to know about it. They don't necessarily want to bring it in yet to their trading, but they want to know about it, and they're like, they want to like check it out, study it. Does it work for me? Type of thing. And anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted, before I forget, what this kind of all came from here was Laura put the chat in about this 17 markups. I would say go with 20, but in your playbook, and really build out an edge where you have an edge. If you can't do it in 20, well then maybe go further with it. Maybe you need 30, or maybe it's with 17 with a different setup, and you got it, it. And but she had mentioned something about she was reading this book from and I'm not trying to plug the book, but it was Axia Futures book. Let me see if I can bring it up here. And interesting thing that she was reading and posted in here, if I can find it. Boy, it's gonna be kind of a challenge. Let's see here. Where is it? Maybe I have to do a search for her. Oh shoot, I don't know, guys. I think I'm gonna have to just say
Here, I'll find it and post it. I saw it.
take my word for it. Anyway, like she had found something in there about like when they had mentioned, as you're learning, or I don't know, building out your playbook or your strategies or whatever, you're bringing stuff in, and your mind is open, and it's a very different process though when you're performing. Learner mode versus performer mode type of thing. When you're performing, you're editing things out. You're honing.
There, it should be posted in
You're
there.
honing it. Okay, let's see here. Find it. I'm all mixed up here. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So yeah, learning mode versus performance mode, and some interesting stuff here about that. Like, mind is a sponge, mind is a filter for performance mode. And anyway, we're going to have the author on for an interview. Great guy. Talked to him this week, and just kind of it's under the radar, but looking very forward to it. He's a trader on their floor, but he also wrote this book. So we got lots of things to go over, and well, this could be one of them. Anyway, wanted to mention that, and thought you guys would be interested. So
Nice.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. All right, guys. I'm sorry. Like we really bantered quite a bit here. Shark, we didn't go over your trades. We go over you every week, though, Shark. So far, so I'm hoping you're not mad at us. But let's see, other guys. This was kind of actually a thin week on content. So we're happy to go through it. But you got to put it in your spreadsheet. You got to post it, and then you got to put the link in the spreadsheet. And we will cover it. So start putting your playbook together. Start numbering them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and how's it working? How's it performing? Etc. So I think this is a worthy direction that we should all give a shot here and get really, really good at it. And we'll know exactly what we're looking for, and
Definitely.
make some good trades. So
I'll do that. Thank you.
yeah, and I will let you guys conclude here and summarize, and we'll call it a session here. So
Great session, everyone. If I chip in, thank you. Appreciate you listening to my ramblings here. But hopefully there's a couple of ideas there to work on. And have a great weekend ahead when it comes. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, John. Thank you, Stan, as well. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
all right, thank you, everyone. Great session. Take care.
Definitely.
Good night.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Later, y'all.